ladies and gentlemen, I'm Meadsy69 and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be having another look at the WZ-120-1 the Chinese tank destroyer premium tank in Tier 8. Now, everybody knows that this tank is overpowered. It is OP. Every time Wargaming bring the tank, so far they've really only bring it for gold. Sorry, not for gold, for money, and it's never really reduced the price. I have been told, I mean, you should know by the time this is out, it is coming back. It is coming back, and it should be for crates this time. But it is gold crates, so maybe you've saved up gold. I don't know. I don't know what the percentage is. Probably 5% or 7%. I don't know. It might not be crates. It might actually be coming back for money. Wargaming might change their mind. So why is this tank overpowered? Because if you look at the stats, I mean, the stats is nothing special. I mean, the DPM 2908, pretty good DPM, but it's not the best. It's not the best. Penetration 248, again pretty good, but again it's not the best. So the armor profile is, we're going to look at the armor profile in a minute. And it's just, if you look at the stat wise, the tank is good, but it's not OP. I mean, the aim time 1.72 is pretty good. Dispersion is okay at 0.326. It goes 50 kilometers an hour as well, and it does have 6 degrees of gun depression. Now, the 6 degrees, even though it doesn't sound a lot, I think that 6 degrees does really help the tank. So we're going to have a look at the armor profile, and you can see, I mean, if you look at it like that, looking at it straight on, it's 120 millimeters of armor, but because it's sloped, I mean, just look at the slope, you can get it at 211 like effective armor, 219, and as soon as you start angling, you can see we're angling to the left there, 221, and again, the more you go, 226, but of course this side will then become a little bit weaker. Well, you would think, but it doesn't. The bottom plate is pretty weak. I mean, it's 80 mil effective. I mean, it's 80 millimeters, but effective is 155. Now, where I said to 6 degrees of gun depression, I mean, you start angling the tank up, and you can see there 270 millimeters of armor. Of course, the bottom plate becomes a lot weaker, but if you're on a ridge line and you're hiding that bottom plate, this tank is almost impenetrable. You can you can hardly pen it, and it's very difficult to be able to penetrate it. You can see it's got some spaced armor there as well on the side, which again, the side armor is nothing really 87 millimeters. It can be HE'd in fact, but because of that little strip of spaced armor, you can get the troll bounces. Now, from the rear, again, it's a Chinese tank. You haven't got much rear armor at all. So, because of the front armor, how troll it is, if you come up against this and they are wiggling, it's very difficult, to be able to pen. And with the speed of the thing as well, and the DPM of the thing, if you just add everything together, this is why this tank is just completely broke. And this is why Wargaming have never sold it straight out for gold. It's always been for money, or it's always been for crates, because they know it's overpowered. And in a way, I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Why would they sell this for gold and everyone goes to buy it and the tier is then broke? I mean, it's the same as the Smasher. I don't think they're ever going to bring the Smasher back for gold. It will be either a lot of money, it will be for maybe a lot of gold. I don't think so. Or it will be crates because it's broke. And people complain that, oh, this tank's in crates, it's a tier 8 tank. Fair enough, but I think people would complain even more if they sold it for gold and everyone started playing it. Everyone. Because it will just break the tier. So we're just going to have a look at a couple of battles, and I can show you what I mean by armor profile and just being completely broke. So the first battle is myself, and we are top tier. Now, this tank is even more broke when it is top tier, but even when you're bottom tier, you can still face those tier 9s pretty easy, and you can still get the troll bounces. Now, for this tank that I have found, Borziks, RHM Borziks absolutely hate these tanks. Now, they haven't got the best of penetration, and they haven't got the best accuracy. So I always bounce Borziks in this thing. Medium tanks, because of the penetration on the medium tanks, they do find this tank really, they struggle to deal with this tank. And you're going to see, I'm just going to rush this tier 7, is it the BIS? No, the TER. I'm going to rush him. And you can see I'm not going in face on. I'm always trying to angle when you are going up against any tank. Doesn't matter if it's a medium, TD, always go in at an angle and always try and, you can see what I'm doing. This is how you should be playing the tank. And the YOLO wagon in tier 10 is the Object 263. Now for me, this is the tier 8 version of a YOLO wagon, and you can just YOLO in. I rarely sit at the back sniping in this tank. I always just sort of rush in, play front line if I can, support the mediums, because it has 50 kilometers an hour speed as well. So you're quicker than some mediums. You've got a better gun than most mediums, and you've got a more DPM than most mediums. So, but what you do have to remember, if you do have this tank, it's not invincible. It's not invincible. You can die. I mean, a lot of my issue is like rushing this Pantera. I just totally took him for granted, and I thought, you know what, he's a medium tank. I can bounce, and I haven't bounced a single shot from him yet. I am going to bounce. I'm going to get a troll bounce just when I need it, when I'm on 20 HP. So the bounce come at the perfect time. So you're not invincible. You can get penned. I mean, if they switch to Pramo, then they can pen you quite easily. But the armor, because of how, and we get another bounce there. So because of the armor, it's really, it is really reliable. It is really, really reliable. And to spear TD as well, you can play it how you want. I mean, we're going to watch a game here, Kai Tosh. And again, I mean, look, he's playing front line and he's rocking the graphite camo, the same as myself. And I do think it looks really, really nice. Now, the 6 degrees of gun depression just allows you enough to get over these ridges, just like he is now, hiding that bottom plate. Now, if you had 4 degrees of gun depression, which I think maybe this tank should have, you won't be able to hide that bottom plate. You'd have to get up on the ridges like he is now, and you wouldn't be able to hide that bottom plate. And you can see he's already got a bounce for 340 block damage. And with the 6 degrees of gun depression, he was able just to get that shot off on that IS-3, and he's going to be able to get the shots off here. You can see on the Tiger 2, he can get his gun down. Pretty much any tank that comes around that corner, he can get his gun down, and his bottom plate is hidden. With his top plate slightly raised as well, it will raise the effective armor. So that is why this tank is just completely broke. And with the DPM, the speed, everything else to go with it, the aim time, it is a completely broke tank. And this is why Wargaming have never just out and out sold it for gold, because it would just be covered. Everyone would want this tank. Now, what Wargaming does do is they bring it in like events. So Christmas events, for instance, where you can earn it in a globe, things like that. Now, that's good, because I've known so many people to actually win this tank from a free globe. So it's not like the Smasher where they will only sell it for crates now. They haven't really put it in events or crates or anything like that. I mean, like event crates, nowhere you can win a crate or whatever. Where this they have. this they have in the globes. The Smasher wasn't available in the snow globes, but this was, and it always is. So, as I've said, I've known so many people to win this tank for nothing, for free. A lot of people, some people don't like the tank. Now, I love this tank. I play it, and it's a very popular tank in ratings because it is a strong tank. Now, face hugging, if you're going to face hug like this, always, as I've said, try and angle up. Because if they're looking directly facing you, then they just have to switch to Pramo, and they will be able to penetrate you. So try and angle up, and always try and wiggle your tank, because the front of your tank is spaced armor. Around your gun mantlet, that is spaced armor as well. So you will be able to get those bounces. And you can see there the IS-6 hasn't got the best pen. In fact, I hate the IS-6. He was able to penetrate him no problem at all. So always try and wiggle. If you can see a tank that is staring right at you and you haven't got cover, just wiggle. I've had tanks, I've come up against these, and I've switched to Pramo, thinking that I'm going to penetrate it, and because he's wiggling, it really does make it a difficult pen. And you can see again, the IS-6 was able to penetrate it nice and easy, where he's not concentrating on the IS-6 at the minute. He wants to take out the German Bulldog, but instead the T-25-2 does anyway. So nice shot from him. They need to be careful because they are both one-shots, and the IS-6 seems to pretty much know what he's doing. But he does get, again, he gets a bounce, and you can see he's trying to wiggle, but he is easily able to penetrate this tank because he's just not angled correctly. But he's going to come around the corner, and again, people misjudged the reload. As soon as he comes around this corner, he is now reloaded. I think the IS-6 just about knows it, but he's got his angles wrong, and he does manage to take him out for his 4th kill. So if you do manage to get the tank, you are getting an OP tank, only if you play it right. Only if you play it right. If you're just going to sit at the back sniping, then it's not OP. If you're going to sit in the middle, at the front, without wiggling, without using the gun depression, it's not OP. If you use it right, it is an OP tank. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you.